always the system with the C grips, so the C grip, the letter C. If my C grip's facing, the gap's facing forward, Steve can just pull his hands out. It's pretty easy. So I want to go C grip down, and I kind of almost want to push them into my hips and onto my leg, so there's more of a friction and more of a gap where I don't want to kind of hold them here because it does the same thing. So what I found for me is raise my hips, push the hands down, try and lock it into my hips and my legs. We'll go to a basic motion here, understanding that my partner will probably use their elbows to open the guard. Okay, so I'm going to give him an off recurrent fuse, open my leg, so he puts the elbow onto this. I would still hold, but I'm just going to talk through. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to bring my knee to my chest and put my foot onto the hip. So instead of fighting it from this position here, where Steve has the option to go under my leg and etc, I'm going to take the option away so that his pressure goes down. I apply light pressure, move my hips, windscreen wiper, and go to what we call like a seated butterfly. The concept on this is to get the maximum control. If my knees are up to the ceiling, Steve can grab my legs and wrestle the pass, etc. Yep, so he's got more options. So what I try to do from here is make him touch my hip bone and then flare my knees as wide as I can to hold him into position. So what I see people do is when they flare, they kind of come to here, and he's got more control than me because he can circle his arms on the inside, etc. So if I hold him here, and there's a lot more pressure, and I kind of like touch my hip bone, okay? Flare your knees. Make sure that when you're doing this, it's your shins raised a little bit as well. Make sure that your knees aren't high. So what I'm doing by that is I'm doing a little bit of a pelvic thrust to make sure I can feel the difference on that versus that. So the more that I put pressure onto the hips with my feet, the harder it is for him to stand, and the more that I can put force onto the biceps as well and force him out. I'm not necessarily trying to attack him from here, but I get a far better control. Okay. So this will be the starting position, which is the seated butterfly. So C grip down, open my leg up, bring my knee to my chest, 1, 2, goes through the inside. To get my second leg in, as I put pressure on this foot, so kick, sweep, touch me, nice and wide, and then just for 3 or 4 seconds, if our partner just move around a little bit, we're going to find this out. As long as I keep the controls, I can kind of keep him at bay where I want him to be. Okay, 1, 2, 3. So just the micros, and this is one of the things I see happen, and it happens by default. It's not done on purpose, but it's an easier grip mechanic to use. So what I'm seeing, like everyone's starting here, they're doing a really good job. Steve opens up like, so for me, is I need to bring my knee to my chest because I can't put my foot onto the hip to get distance management. Right, so this is a key fundamental, so I've got to bring, and that allows me to do that. This does 2 things. Number 1, it's harder for Steve to pass the guard because I've got the pressure on my partner. Number 2, it enables me to what we call distance manage. So if my foot's here, this makes it easier for my knee to come through. Where I'll find if my foot's here, I'm trying to get my knee through. This is quite a difficult task to do, specifically if my partner's playing the inside position and I'm trying to get my knee through. So even if Steve does play the inside position, like here, is once I'm here, I can still get that through relatively easy just by turning my knee down. Grips, so secondary kick my legs straight to grip break, come through. The part that I'm seeing people have difficulties, they now go to C grip down when they're doing this because it's an easier grip mechanic. So once I'm here, Steve just goes, well, up the sit, yeah, right. So what I want is, when I say make him touch me, like I'm trying to turn his palms in so that it's locked into, yeah, right, versus this here, which is a easier grip break for my partner. The second thing is, here I'm kind of on top of the bicep head, which I don't get as much control, or I guess we call it pain compliance. Where if I turn it here, I'm definitely on the bicep head versus here where I'm not. So I'm not trying to tap my partner, but it gives me a far better security and control from here. One of the first things that we're going to do from here is, once we've weathered the storm, because I'll try and move around a little bit, one of the things that you're going to see is they're going to try and get their hands up by pulling backwards. So as I pull backwards, I'm going to use this mechanic, and I'm going to kick plant my heels onto my partner's hip, put my head down, and what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to push myself backwards. I'm not trying to tip Steve over. So here, and now as I kick, set the triangle. Now, because my hips are, you okay, Desmond?
Yeah.
Because my hip line is underneath Steve's hip line, when I go do my triangle, it's very easy for Steve to run the corner to his right and start to stack and get out of the triangle. So what I want to do instead, think about this way, is I'll put all my weight onto my leg and I shove my hips this way. So I'll move my hips away from my partner by raising them, turn. Now when I lock this up, the triangle is going to be super tight as it is. I'm loosening this up. So as Steve tries to run the corner, it's actually going to put the triangle on. Secondly, is if Steve does try to stack me out, my shoulder will backwards and this will still put the triangle on. So the mechanic is, I'm not trying to do my triangle choke from underneath my partner. From underneath my partner. I try to do my triangle choke from offside. So I'm trying to move my hips out so there's a valley for my partner to fall into, so that way they're not landing on me and have like a mechanic in there. Eli, I'll grab you please. I've got their grips once again from here. Foot goes in, control, kick it just a little bit, and pull goal, kick, windscreen wiper, foot on hip, straight in here, touch me, so make sure the palms are onto my hips please, make sure that your hands are out wide, flare, so you've got the control, easy peasy. A little bit of weather, still make sure my head's down as well. This will help with being stacked up. If I'm curved up and more of a ball, wherever I'm straight, it's actually easier for me to distance manage as well. Kick my knees straight, kick backwards, one goes in, one goes out, her arms over the top. Okay, from here, lock it up. If I'm here, Eli can stack me up, run the corner. There's no like they've got a lot more options than I do. So what I try and do is I can either hold it or keep it here. It depends on your dexterity and your ability. You can even hold your foot if you want to. Throw your hips out as far as you can to the outside. Raise your hips, throw it out, then lock it up. The arm bar by itself is right there. If Eli does try and run the corner to the right, it actually throws the triangle on twice as much. Do you mind just turning that phone just a little bit from the back? Comfortable there. So the mechanic is from here, because my body is in the way, when Eli puts the weight on me, I'm in the way. So if I kind of go hip down, control, throw my hips out, now there's a valley to pull my partner into. So depending on your dexterity, whether you can do that with your feet crossed, whether you have to hold it, or whether you put your foot down, that's entirely up to you. What I found myself was that if my partner is bigger and stronger than me, I generally have to put my foot on the ground to lift because their weight's on me. If they're the same size as me, I can use my core to move them. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so same drill again, guys. See good control. Thank you, Maestro. See good control. Okay, foot, take it. Distance management. Apply pressure. Turn down for what? Okay, so it's hard to bring my knee through if Steve has the inside grip, so turn my knee down. And this also helps windscreen wiper to put it to the position, kick in the position. Make sure I'm rolling my pinkies to my hips and apply pressure from here. My partner this time is going to start to back out, but what's happening is they start to get exactly right. So they kind of start to back out. I'm like, I'm losing it. So I've got to find it hard to do the triangle from here because the distance of his head versus my hips isn't good. So even if I kick and shoot, I'm not going to get that control. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to try and put this hand as deep as I can under and roll a fraction. And it just has to be, it doesn't have to be a whole roll. It doesn't have to move a lot, but I just need this down. Foot goes into here. Making sure that once it's in here, my heel is going higher than my toes. So the mechanics on this one is, if my toes are higher than my heel, that's a shot for the triangle because it's going over. If my heels are higher than my toes, that's the sweep mechanic. And that's the two things we've got to work out what we're doing. The beautiful thing about this sweep is once I'm in this position and once I've controlled the hand, it doesn't matter whether the hand comes over or he posts or anything, as long as I have the control, that's the issue. So what's going to happen is, you're going to find is, I start to do the sweep, Steve's going to go, there's no way in posts. I can try and get swept. Convert from heel to toe, slide in. Now, this is the issue. See how my knees on the ground. So I know he has to post on his hand to stop the weight. So what I want to do is, as I start to put the pressure, like heavy leg, I turn my knee towards my foot. Let me explain. Because if I try and bring my arm through and Steve does a hop with his hand, I go here, he's in guard pass mode because I lose the control of the arm. Exactly right. So what I'm doing instead from here is I bring my knee here, right? So my knee, and this is going to help bring the arm into position, which is a really cool mechanic. So I put all my weight, I'm trying to be nice, all my weight, and so Steve has to post, otherwise I get the sweep, which is cool as well. I don't bring my knee this way, I do the same thing, so post, turn, and as my knee comes forward, it's going to bring the arm in. Now, the chokes will set, my hips are already offside anyway, so the choke's already done. What I do like to do from here is put my, you okay this level, try and make this as loose. Yeah, try and make this as loose as I can. If I'm here, once again, the weight's through my hips. So what I like to do is I put my head on the ground, put my foot on the ground, and you okay?
Yep.
And I'll slowly raise my hips. As I raise my hips, that's going to make the choke come on twice as fast. Right. So the thing about this is I don't have to hold, I'm going to bring the arm into the triangle by my motion instead. I would generally have control of the arm anyway, but I'm kind of talking with my hands, so I'll lose that. Eli, thank you, Steve. There in my guard, once again, foot onto the hip, distance, manage, control, kick it as you can, turn down for what, so my knees down, wouldn't screw my upper to make sure I get control of the inside position, kick it a little bit, make sure I get the inside position from here. They start to stand up a little bit backwards from here, so I realise I can't shoot the triangle because it's too far away. Okay, turn, just a fraction. This will enable me to get my foot to the position. If my toes are high, it's triangle, but I want the sweep. So I try to get my heel high from here. And you're pretty much going to get the sweep. It's pretty hard for them to stop it. But let's just say that they managed to put their hand onto the ground. Right. Shoot, turn my knee through, bring my knee up, and I should be offside already. So the choke should technically be pretty much on already. If they try to run the guard, head goes on the ground, hips go high. If they try to stack me up, head goes on the ground, hips go high. If they don't do anything, head on the ground, hips go high. So, head on the ground, hips go high. Don't worry, just that's the mechanic that we're using. 1, 2, 3. The preamble. So, when I first got shown this move, it was kind of like it was the coolest move in the entire friggin' universe, and it was like, man, and everyone was trying to hit it, and it was like, you know, if you got this, you were the coolest grappler on the mat and all that. So, and now I don't see this come up much at all. Like it's really rare that this comes up. It's one of the things that I think that people misunderstand how effective this technique is. Right, it's just one of those ones that when you get it, it's like, yeah, man, that's so good. I started playing around with this again. I started teaching my southpaw pass, the hand in the armpit, and you know, the hands in the collars, and obviously, like, I was having good success passing people's guards with it and all that. So people start to copy and emulate what you do. You know, okay, no, hand in the armpit, just, you know, because monkeys see monkey do, so people start to copy it. So what happened was that this started to bring back the original attack, which was the double armbar from the guard. Just grab Eli inside my guard. Very easy system. So what was happening was we were getting the controls from here, and my partner was generally going straight to my armpits to get the control. And people were trying to disengage the arms or to get the control, right? Which is the correct thing, there's nothing wrong with that. But we're going to just bring our hands back, like from here, nice and lazy. And what I want to do is, the reason being is I want to bring this up nice and high so that they get a really good bite of my armpit. I'm now going to do 2 motions at once. Is I'm going to bring my hamstrings, the back of my knee, up onto Eli's shoulders, and I'm going to drag my elbows to my legs. I bring both of my knees up onto Eli's shoulders, I drag my elbows to my legs. No, they can't tap. But the arm bars, both arms are pretty trapped. So at this stage here, I'm going to be super nice. Is my head goes on the ground, my hips go high, and I raise my hips. I've loosened up the squeeze of my knees. reason being is you okay with that? If I do squeeze my knees, the arms come together and it's super tight. So now I can disengage, take both the arms and double armbar if I need to. It's a super tight armbar, super effective. But it's one of those ones I haven't seen this around the traps for quite a while. So the reason being is I try to break my partner down, they go hands to the armpit. This here gives me the space to move my hips. Because from here, sometimes I can't move my hips. So I try to take the elbows off my body. So that gives me the space. In my motion, curl, cross, hands come down. Yeah, it's a double wrist lock as well. I'm being super nice here. Okay, slowly raise my hips, cup the arms together, and they can't tap because I've got both the arms from here. If I'm struggling to finish this, I simply come offside, switch, and take the traditional armbar. So the double armbar by itself is super tight, but the single armbar when I switch becomes insanely tight. They can't move. So once again, I'll try and break Steve down, and he goes hands to the armpit. To get the distance so that I can raise my hips to come to the armbar, I'll bring my hands up. And they generally kind of go like, he's giving up, so my feet come up, and I'll cross them. That's the hardest part. So now, as I squeeze my knees, I lock in position. The more that I bring my arms down, the more that I get the wrist lock. Okay, I can disengage, grab the arms, squeeze my knees, double armbar, swing underneath, switch, traditional armbar. It's a super cool way to finish your partner. Generally, of course, they can't tap. It's more of a scream, a verbal, shit, like that. But even if you're flexible, right, the dynamic force behind the elbows is going to cause quite a fair bit of pain. And because there's the wrist lock in behind the elbows, it's quite an aggressive kind of mechanic. Grab your partner, guys, 1, 2, 3. And so